Okay, resetters, so I get that so many of you love fasting. I get it. I love it. I'm with you. But many of you are taking fasting too far. And hopefully in all my teachings, you're understanding that I'm a big fan of cycling fasting. I don't believe that we should just fast. And we are meant for feast, famine, cycling. And women, I really encourage you to do it to your hormonal profile. This was what Fast Like a Girl was all about. So we really need to have this conversation about when do you know you're taking fasting too far? Because I want you to be safe. And I want you to get the best results out of fasting that you possibly can. So there are 7 things that I want you to pay close attention to. And if these 7 show up, I want you to step out of fasting for a moment and then go back in. And it's the cycle in and out, the metabolic switch in and out where the miracles happen. So always keep that in mind. So the first one are heart palpitations. So, and this really ties into the adrenal gland. So I want you to remember that your adrenals, there is a cortisol surge that happens when we fast. Every length fast creates a little different cortisol surge, and that's okay. A little spike of cortisol is like, there's cortisol surges in exercise. So a little spike's not horrible. But when we start feeling a lot of heart palpitations, or you go from sitting to standing and you get really dizzy, whether in the fasted state or when you eat, there's a large chance you're fasting too much and your adrenals are starting to respond in a negative way. So the adrenals do really well with pulsing in stress. The adrenals don't do well with chronic stress over and over and over again. So if you have a very stressed out life and you're continuing to fast, and you're getting these heart palpitations, you're standing up, you're dizzy, your adrenals are saying, I'm maxed. I don't know how to turn off. Your nervous system's saying it's not flipping back into parasympathetic mode. And so that is a sign you need to slow down on the fast. Maybe eat breakfast for a week. Just don't fast for a moment and then go back in. Nourish the body, give the adrenals a break. Take some chill out around your stress. Maybe it's vacation. You decide when you go on vacation, you're not going to fast. So you can nourish those adrenals so that when you come back into a fasting lifestyle, it works for you. Okay, second sign, hair loss. So we saw this a lot when I first started my channel, is that so many people, especially women, were losing hair. Now, I want you to remember that your hair takes a lot of vitamins and minerals. And so when you're fasting, you're not bringing in vitamins and minerals. So what you want to make sure is that when hair loss starts happening, it's actually a sign that you're becoming vitamin and mineral depleted. So there are I've brought you a lot of minerals here that we love that you can start to upregulate. And drink in your fasting window element is one of them. I've done podcasts talking about minerals. I'm mildly a little, maybe more than a little, obsessed with minerals. I think it's like the forgotten nutrient. So, but when we start fasting, you have to remember you're not bringing in vitamins and minerals. So it's really important that if hair is falling out, you start to see that you may be fasting too much, and you can step out and start building up your mineral balance and really pour into the mineral content of your body and then go back. Okay, the third one is mood changes. So here's the thing about mood. I did a video on ketones and what ketones do for us. And one of the things that ketones do for us is they upregulate dopamine and serotonin and GABA. Those 3 neurotransmitters keep us really happy and calm. They're juicy and wonderful. And when we go into a fasted state, we should have all 3 of them at working at their best. And we should be happy in a fasted state. If you start going into a fasted state and you're depressed, that is 2 things. One, that can be a sign you are losing like amino acids and vitamins and minerals, because you need those to make neurotransmitters that keep you happy. So if you start noticing like every time you get into a fasted state, you're getting more and more depressed. But also when your sympathetic nervous system gets constantly on overload and you've been fasting too much and cortisol has been too high for too long, you move into a new nervous system called the freeze nervous system. And the freeze nervous system is where we withdraw. It's where we become depressed. It's where we stop caring. I can tell you, the people in my Reset Academy, I shared this as I've been launching Fast Like a Girl out into the world. I'd traveled so much. I'd done so many interviews. I started to notice that I was withdrawing. I was going into a state of depression, which is not my normal state. And I used that as an indication my nervous system had now gone into this freeze nervous system, and it was time for me to start to rehab the nervous system. So if that's you with fasting, please vary your fast more, step out of the fasted state. Okay, number 4, talked about this before, but I'm gonna bring it back up. Those of you who are gaining weight when you're fasting and you're trying harder and harder and harder to lose weight or to fast more to be able to lose weight, you might have to step out and feast for a week and then go back into your fasted state. Now, interesting enough, I'm finding that the gaining weight is happening more to women than to men, just based off of what I see here on my YouTube channel. So for those women, if you're a woman and you're gaining weight and you're fasting more and more and more, make sure you're fasting like a girl. So we have to fast with our hormones. But I saw early on here on my YouTube channel, what would end up happening is that a lot of the OMADers, the 1 meal a day people that had followed Jason Fung with his obesity code book, a lot of them, what they were finding is that they lost a ton of weight. But then all the OMADers, what ended up happening is they didn't vary their fast and they started to gain weight. And that was actually the birth of my YouTube channel here, as a lot of them found me over here as I was teaching the science behind varying fasts through fasting variation and through Women for Cycling. So if you're gaining weight, you got to vary your fast. You might need to step out. Okay, number 5, thyroid problems. So this is big, especially for women going through menopause. 50% of women going through menopause are going to end up with a thyroid issue. Every cell in your body has a receptor site for T3, your bioactive version of your thyroid hormone. So one of the things that the thyroid needs is calories. It's not that fasting tanks the thyroid. It's that if you're fasting so much you're only eating 1 meal a day and not getting enough calories, that tanks the thyroid. So you need about 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day for your thyroid. So please, please, please make sure, this is the only time I encourage you to look at calories, but if you're an OMADer and you're fasting a lot and you got 1 meal a day going for you, make sure it's not 800 calories. Make sure you're getting enough calories. If thyroid problems show up when you're fasting, it's because you're not getting enough food, you're fasting too long, not leaving enough time for food. So be aware of that. Okay, number 6, also a very controversial one, which is you start to lose muscle. So remember when we go into like a 3 or 5 day water fast, it's common to feel like your muscles shrink. But then that's just the cleaning out of all of that glucose. But then when you actually go back into a fed state, if you follow the principles I've been teaching here, where you actually start to eat more protein, you can actually see your muscle grow stronger. So if you are noticing over time that you're getting less muscle and you're fasting more and more, you want to make sure you're eating enough protein. So I think the biggest challenge we have with taking fasting too far is that what we start to feel is all these incredible benefits, and we don't want to step out of fasting. Believe me, I can be in that position often. But if we're starting to muscle starting to break down, that's not good, because muscle is the organ of longevity. We need to pay a close attention to muscle. So I don't want you to lose sight of the fact that fasting too much and taken too far can be at the detriment of muscle. So make sure you're eating more protein, make sure you're having some feast days, you're not always fasting. Okay, I gotta interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle, and all you've gotta do is click here and you can jump right in. Okay, and the last one, number 7, is when you just stop getting results. Like everything you're trying to fast, your mental clarity, your energy, your mood, your weight loss, like fasting just feels like it's not working for you anymore. You took it too far. You didn't vary it. You need to stop with it. You just took it too far. So if that is you and you want to get your results back, you're going to have to step out of the fasted state and then go back in, and your results will start happening again. So make sure that you pay close attention to your intention behind why you're fasting. Because a lot of us come to fasting to lose weight, and that's awesome. But I'm gonna ask you to stay for all the other benefits. Metabolic health is the most important part, I believe, of our entire health. And I actually think a lot of experts believe this. We gotta bring our metabolic health back. So if you came to fasting because you wanted to lose weight, I'm gonna ask that you stay for all the wonderful metabolic health benefits that will improve your immune system, will help mental clarity, it will slow down aging, will help your performance in life, will balance your sex hormones, all the incredible things that fasting can do. Okay, so if you love this video, you're gonna wanna check out the next video in my fasting series. I know that fasting helps you lose weight without changing your food, but if you're intermittent fasting and gaining weight, then I really recommend that you look at 3 food changes.